guys who made it very clear that dishes and laundry are very, these are things that I think women would love for their husbands to do.
You
to
do
help
the
them.
laundry.
And I do the laundry and I do dishes.
I love that he does the laundry because I really suck at it.
Right, so, yeah. So you need clean clothes, you put it in the laundry. But I've known people that I work with, men that I work with, that have claimed to intentionally mess up laundry and dishes
So they don't have to
in the
do
hope
it.
that they will never have to do them again. And it works. The woman will say, you suck at this, I'll do it.
You didn't raise me to be super feminine.
I didn't.
You let me play with whatever the frick frack I wanted to and be a tomboy and run around in the dirt. I could play with bugs and you let me have lizards and toads and bugs. We had a tarantula at one point. Like
Yeah, that was fun.
that was something interesting.
That was mine.
Yeah. You know, and like you always encouraged me to. I remember I was really into like marine biology because we lived in Cali near the ocean. Like we would go to Coronado and collect weird sea creatures that I found, like sponges, and that's how we found the dolphin jaw and whatnot.
Whoa.
And you encouraged me to get like into the environment, you know, which is like something that is not always. I mean, but I also did dance. I did ballet too. So
Right.
like, I like that you let me have a good mix of everything.
I thought that was important and for you to get to make decisions and follow your interests. So, I didn't want to sit around and play dolls or house. I was much more interested in going outside and finding a vernal pool or whatever it was.
Frog eggs. And I think that definitely, every family it's so situational, gender roles. And I don't think that there can be like one ultimate answer of like, well, should like, the men of the household do these things and the women do these things, should we swap? It's just like, it just gets so particular and like, obviously there's some amount of like genetics, there's some
Biologically we're different. I think that like Dom is better suited toward hauling out the heavy trash
Oh yeah, it's really
Well,
easy for me.
than
It's
I
no
am in
problem.
that sense.
My
Or
back doesn't hurt.
there's a reason that women do childcare.
because we're good at it.
And we have boobs, like there's a certain amount of.
Oh, when it's breastfeeding, right? But there's just certain
Right.
things that
That-
men just can't do.
Right, so
Yeah.
women stay close to home, they're raising children. Some of that all makes sense, and it makes sense when you have shared division of labor. It's when you start adding value to whose work is better or worth more. Because the dishes aren't worth more than the garbage. They're just different
Things that
tasks
have to be done.
that have to be done. And why not let the person best suited to the job
Do them.
do the job?
I think a lot of men cook.
A lot of men cook, and I mentioned this to Mom earlier, it's so ironic to me, the women belong in the kitchen, but if you go into any restaurant, like 90% of that staff is going to be men, and the head chef is always a guy.
My dad was a chef, and he was a man. But my mom would do all the cooking at home. Because when my dad would come home,
From work.
He didn't want to cook anymore.
He wouldn't want to cook anymore, but even if he did cook at home, he would make a mess and expect her to clean it. So on some level,
She would rather...
that's where the woman says, no, I got it.
It's like another
I got
one of
this.
the, I'm bad at doing the laundry, so you do it.
A little bit, maybe, or just, he had his way of doing it, which may have worked in the restaurant, but didn't work in
In the home.
this home of feeding a
And like
bunch of kids.
speaking of your home environment, you have 4 brothers and 5 sisters. Was there a lot of pressure for you guys to be? Was there like shared interest between brothers and sisters, or was it kind of a like the boys are gonna do this thing and the girls are gonna go do this thing?
It was there was the boys had their jobs and the girls had their jobs. The biggest time that that the gender you could tell the gender when there was an argument between the parents. So when mom and dad were fighting, boys wanted to go into the backyard and have nothing to do with the conflict. Whereas the girls were there supporting the mom, saying, "Oh, you're such a bad dad, you're bad," and all that. And I wanted to hang out with the girls because it seemed like that's where the excitement was, you know. I didn't want to go ignore all the stuff that was going on. Maybe it was the theater.
Oh, Dom, did you get, because that, like, theater is a typically, like gay man and woman thing.
Oh, yeah. You were saying,
did you get some flack for that?
Yeah, no, I grew up in Stowe, and I remember coming back, dancing, after I had gone off to Burlington, and I was a theater major for a while, so I came back to Stowe to dance in a dance club, and I was dancing very freely.
As you do.
And the conservative men in the bar thought I was, you know, my brother Fritz told me they wanted to beat me up. And that he stuck up for me because I was his little brother. He's like, "No, he's my bro. He's okay."
Don't touch him.
He's okay. He just dance weird. He's all right. Don't beat him up. But yeah, no, I think theater is an interesting kind of profession where there's a lot of gay people in theater, and being in theater has exposed me to people that are gay, and I think it's helped me to be accepting, and that's one of the best things of going to college and just meeting all kinds of people, is that it expands your mind a little bit. I think a lot of my siblings didn't go to college and may not have as open a mind about gender, about people who are gay or.
Yeah, I mean, like, and honestly, I was speaking on that, like, you know, the gender and the sexuality stuff, like, I knew coming out to mom was going to be okay. Like, with the gender stuff, I was pretty nervous because this was it's not new, but it's new. You know what I mean? Like, it's been around for a while, but it's just more up and coming, and, you know. But I was, like, so nervous to come out to you for any of it because I didn't know, like, at all how you were going to react to it. I was
You knew how she was going to react, but not me?
Well, I mean, I remember, like, you know, I tried to come out in 7th grade, and I got really badly bullied, and had, like, a terrible time. But I remember, that was when I started, like, really questioning, because, like, my whole life I just liked boys and girls, and I just thought it was normal until society was like, "Hey, this is bad." And I was like, "Wait, but why?
Or you're supposed to
Why am I
choose,
bad?
or-
Like, what?" And I remember we were leaving CrossFit, we were in the car, and I asked you, I was like, "Mom, how would you feel if I told you I was bisexual?" And you were like, "Well, I would just love you." And I was like, "Okay." And then I tried to tell Star, and then everything bad happened, you know?
Yeah.
And so I had a lot of, like, anxiety about, like, I didn't want that to happen in my home. You know, I wanted to, I was like, maybe I could just not tell anybody about this and just, like, pretend it doesn't exist. But, you know, I wanted to be honest with you guys, and I just, like, I'm happy that you guys get it and you understand. It's, like, pretty freaking cool.
No, I think it's easier for me to get the sexuality than the gender.
Yeah.
And I respect that,
Yeah.
but it's just a harder leap for me.
Yeah.
And I think because I don't think I've really followed stereotypical gender roles in a lot of ways.
No, you
and,
haven't.
and I think that I got by raising you so that you weren't really confined to them, that was, you know, and maybe that's some of it, that raising you in a way that allowed you to feel that you could explore your identity in that way, where other people might not have had that option or felt they had that option to do it safely. But yeah, no, I mean, that's a harder thing, and it's a shift. It's more of a shift.
Yeah.
Because it's really more about identity, you know, who you are as a person.
Being super queer.
Yeah, man, you know. I think sometimes my biggest, you know, it's hard because I just see how society still is, and I worry. You know, like there's some sadness there just because I know that there's a lot of hate out there.
I've had some shitty times.
Yeah.
You know, but I still, like, I have enough, like, willpower behind me to be like, I'm not gonna freaking back down because somebody doesn't believe in my thing. Like, I don't identify as cisgender, but I don't. I still think it's a thing, you know what I mean? Just because I don't feel that way doesn't mean I don't think it exists. So. And it's just like, it's teaching tolerance, you know? Like, you don't even have to accept it, just tolerance.
Yeah,
You have tolerance in your yard.
I do, and some of that is because I feel that, you know, as the parent of somebody who is queer and is trans, that I want to do what I can to make the world a little bit softer, and, you know, if that means putting some art in my yard that promotes acceptance, that's something I'm willing to do. I think that's part of what everybody should do. That's how change happens.
Slowly but surely.
And having conversations with people, and, you know, being open to the fact that not everybody's going to get it or understand, but you can still have the conversation. Spread knowledge.